Okay. So hi, everybody. I'm Teresa Bivelitz, Campus Victim Services Coordinator at William Paterson. And today I have a special guest to present some really important information for you. So here I have with me Angela Rodriguez, who's the Managing Attorney for the Family Unit of Northeast New Jersey Legal Services. She's going to talk to you about the SASPA, which stands for the Sexual Assault Survivors Protection Act. She's going to go through some slides to share some really important information with you and how this protection could be available to students of William Paterson if needed. So Angela, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Hello, everyone. Northeast New Jersey Legal Services has attorneys that assist clients with applying for protections under the Sexual Assault Survivor Act. And I'm going to be presenting some of the questions you may have. It's important to know that this is specific to the Sexual Assault Survivor Protection Act and does not include information on domestic violence. There's a separate act for domestic violence. Any information that we provide to you is intended to be for general purposes only. As you know, this does not create an attorney-client relationship. And please know you can always contact the William Paterson University Women's Center, Teresa, or contact Northeast New Jersey Legal Services directly with questions. So what is SASPA? SASPA is the Sexual Assault Survivor Protection Act of 2015. And when Congress passed this law, they had student campuses in mind. And what it does is that it provides survivors of sexual assault the ability to obtain a protective order in civil court against the alleged abuser without having to file criminal charges. It became effective May 9, 2016. Who can apply for a SASPA protective order? So the statute specifically states who can apply, and it's any person who's alleging to be a victim of non-consensual sexual contact, sexual penetration, or lewdness, or an attempt of any of those conduct. It's also the person cannot be eligible for a restraining order under the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. This means that you can't have a dating relationship with the person you're saying sexually made the conduct, no household or former household member, or no children in common. For persons who fit into those categories, they would seek restraining orders under the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act. How does SASPA apply to unemancipated minors? So SASPA applies to 18-year-olds for you to be 18 years old or older for you to be able to apply. However, if you are an alleged victim that's under 18 years old or have a developmental disability or mental disease or defect, your parent or legal guardian can apply for SASPA for a protective order on your behalf. Whenever the acts are committed by someone who is not an adult, an unemancipated minor, those acts are then prosecuted under the Juvenile Justice Code, and a person can seek protections under the Juvenile Justice Code for a protective order. If the act is committed by a person who is taking care of the child. So the act is committed against an unemancipated minor by someone having the care, custody, and control of their child, then those cases are not brought under SASPA. They're brought under, you have to seek action under DCP&P or family court, filing for a DIFUS investigation. And if it results, they may seek a protective order on behalf of the unemancipated minor. How is the conduct defined? So when we say SASPA, there's specific conduct that comes within the statute. Sexual contact is any intentional touching by the victim or actor, either directly or through clothing of the victim or actor's intimate parts for the purpose of degrading or humiliating the victim, or sexually arousing or sexually gratifying the actor. As you know, under the law, these definitions are very important because you have to prove these things to be able to obtain the protections. The intimate parts are sexual organs, genital area, anal area, inner thigh, groin, buttock, or breast of a person. Sexual penetration and lewdness are also defined specifically so that when you go through to determine if what you the conduct you experience is protected under SASPA, you can just review part of the definitions. And we obviously always recommend that you seek assistance legal whenever possible. What is the process? If you believe that you are the victim of a sexual contact or conduct protected under this law, you complete a SASPA application. And the application is found on the New Jersey court's websites. This is the only way you can get a SASPA protective order. A municipal court cannot grant, or the police officers cannot grant SASPA. They do not have the SASPA applications. So you must complete the forms and submit them to the court. Right now, during COVID, during the pandemic, you can submit online in JEDs. A judge or hearing officer reviews the application and issues the temporary protective order. And you have to show that this more than likely happened, which is more likely than not the standard for proving your case. Within 10 days of the issuance of the temporary protective order, you're supposed to be scheduled for a final protective order. That doesn't necessarily mean it'll go forward to a hearing on that day, but one is supposed to be scheduled, and then the court determines how the case is going to proceed. Do you have to file a police report or file a criminal complaint before applying for a protective order? No, you do not. In fact, again, that's what Congress had in mind when they decided to pass this law, which is you should be afforded protections without having to turn to the police if you don't feel comfortable doing so. Can you file, or may you file a criminal complaint if you applied for a temporary protective order? Yes, you may. You can apply for a temporary protective order in civil court, but you can also still apply and file a criminal complaint, file criminal charges against the defendant if you wish to do so. When you file a temporary protective order, especially if the defendant does not know your address, the address does not have to appear on the temporary protective order. And in fact, the judge will waive that as a requirement, so that if the alleged perpetrator does not know where you live, he will not get access to that information. He or she, excuse me. Where can you apply for a temporary protective order? You can apply for a temporary protective order in a court having jurisdiction over the place where the alleged conduct or attempted conduct occurred, where the respondent, the alleged abuser, resides, or where the alleged victim resides or is sheltered. So you have several options of where you can seek the protective order. Does the alleged perpetrator have to be present for the alleged victim to obtain a temporary protective order? No. The court can, when the court finds there's an emergency, the court can issue an emergency ex parte order for good cause to try to protect the safety and well-being of the alleged victim. When the court has to determine whether to make a temporary order final, What can the court consider? The court shall consider, but not be limited to, the occurrence of one or more acts of prohibited conduct and the possibility of future risk to the safety and well-being of the alleged victim. So the court's going to look at the conduct itself and continuing need. Is it possible that you need the protection from future risk to help protect you from this person committing these conducts against you again? The court does not permit facts to be admitted or even referenced during the hearing where the previous sexual conduct of the alleged victim is come into play, or the manner of dress. As you guys know, there's, I believe, the rape shield laws, and this is to conform to that, to help protect victims from being re-victimized during the trial. The court does not deny any final protective order if the applicant didn't report this to law enforcement, if the victim or respondent were allegedly intoxicated, the respondent is the alleged perpetrator, whether the victim did or did not leave the premises to avoid the prohibited conduct, and absence of any signs of physical injury to the victim. One of the things that's unique to New Jersey is that the final protective order remains in effect forever. It doesn't have an expiration date. Does that mean that if the alleged victim at that point who has been granted the final protective order, if the victim wishes to dissolve it, they can apply to the court and either modify the protective order or ask that it be terminated. The defendant or alleged perpetrator can also apply to modify or terminate. The standard is rather high. It's not, okay, I'm just going to apply, I disagree with this, so I'm going to apply to terminate the final protective order. No, there's legal requirements that that both parties must establish. Okay, there are resources that are available to assist you both on campus and off campus, and Teresa will tell you about the resources that are available at William Paterson.
Thanks, Angela. Yes, as I mentioned before, I'm the Campus Victim Services Coordinator at William Paterson, and I'm a confidential resource here on campus. And so that means that students can come to me and talk about what happened to them, things like sexual violence, dating violence, stalking, and I'm not required to report to school authorities. However, I support and advocate for that student, and if they do want to report, then I help them to make a connection to our Title IX office who investigates any allegations of sexual misconduct. I can also refer them and assist them with making any reports to campus police if they want to go that route. And because we have such a great partnership with Angela over at Northeast New Jersey Legal Services, I can help any student to get connected if they do want to seek some legal representation for areas like domestic violence and sexual violence. We also have our Counseling, Health, and Wellness Center, which provides confidential counseling services as well as wellness. It's a one-stop shop for physical and mental health needs for our students, and that's available to all of our students. So those are the resources available for William Paterson students. And now Angela's going to share what other resources are available off campus, and those are also available to William Paterson students if you want to go off campus for survivors.
Thank you, Teresa. So in Bergen County, we have Healing Space and the Center for Hope and Safety. We did provide the Bergen County prosecutor's telephone number, but that's only, again, if you want that as a resource because you wish to file for criminal charges. You do not have to. That's the point of SASPA. But if that's an option and something you're interested in, we did provide that as a resource. Same thing for Hudson County. Hudson County has Hudson Speaks, and Hudson Speaks also has a 24-hour hotline. And There's also other NJCU counseling centers, Hudson Pride centers. If you have been sexually assaulted and are concerned about your health and if you've been infected with anything in any way or any sexually transmitted disease, you could be infected by anything like that or pregnant, you can contact the Horizon Health Center. There's also the Liberty Health Behavioral Health Services. So these are all just different ways of contacting resources that are available to you. In Passaic County Women's Center does assist. They have a 24-hour hotline. It is called the Passaic County Women's Center. It's not limited to women. It's open to all victims of sexual assaults. And the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office is also provided, as previously stated. That doesn't mean that you have to file a criminal charge, but we provide the information for you in the event you're interested, whether it's that you have questions or just seek to file. Throughout the state, there are additional resources. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is available. Everything is confidential and it is free. And that telephone number is 800-656-HOPE, which is 4673. They're also available through chat. There's additional services through Strong Hearts Native Helpline, the Trans Lifeline, the Deaf Hotline, and the RAIN National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. The RAIN hotline is the same as the National Sexual Assault Hotline. We just put it in there twice because it's referred to differently. So in case you have any questions, you can refer to that information. Lastly, but certainly not least, is our contact information. Northeast New Jersey Legal Services is a nonprofit organization. You do have to qualify for our services, but you certainly can give us a call. During the pandemic, our physical offices are closed, but we're resuming working virtually and working remotely. So you can contact us at Bergen County 201-487-2166. Contact the Hudson County number or the Passaic County number. And the best form of contact of being able to reach us is through NNJLS at lsnj.org. You can send an email there asking for assistance, and someone will be in touch with you, following up with you to explain as to the process to qualify for our services. We also, like everyone else nowadays, have social media access. So if you're interested in learning what services we offer and any other information about Northeast New Jersey Legal Services, you can go on our Instagram account or our YouTube. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity, Teresa, to present to the students.
Sure. Thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate you taking the time to share this information with us. It'll be available on our web pages. And if anybody has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to myself at William Paterson or to Angela or the offices of Northeast New Jersey Legal Services. So again, thank you. And just to wrap it up and say that our partnership, we've always had a partnership, but we're able to do this these videos by the help of our Office of Violence Against Women campus grant to reduce sexual violence, dating violence, and stalking. So just wanted to make that note there. But again, thank you so much, Angela, and take care.